Okay. I do believe I'm finally live. Few minor technical difficulties, but we're learning, we're growing. Hey, Tasha, thanks for hopping on. All right, so tonight, thank you so much, Tasha. I appreciate the feedback because I need to know, make sure I'm doing this right. All right, so let's talk about beginner quilting tools. There's so many you can choose from, and I'm going to go through some the stuff that I use all the time and I think would be great. It would make everything run smoother, and I don't like to see beginner quilters get frustrated. They don't have the right tools. So my last quilting class that I taught, the one lady does not actually have her own machine yet. And I said, well, is this something you feel like you're really gonna keep pursuing after this class? And she said, most definitely. I said, well, then I would get these things. So I did recommend some things to her. So if it's something that you really enjoy, it's worth investing in good tools. I will say that. It's definitely worth it. All right. So I'm doing this kind of twofold. I'm doing it so I can try my new setup for the first time. And I want to be able to show you things up closer. So if you're going to be a quilter, you're going to be a hobbyist quilter, a professional quilter, I don't know, you're going to need something to cut your fabric with. Now, I have we're not going to count how many mats I have, okay? But I recommend, if you're going to really be into this, you really should have a mat that'll cut yardage. This is 36-inch mat. It's double-sided. So depending on whether you like one color or more, this one's been well used, or, you can rotate it eventually. I have two of these identical. I have another one over there, which honestly, they really come in handy for me when I'm teaching classes, because then I can take multiples. The last class, I had enough so that each student could have their own space. So I had two people and they could each have their own space. So I recommend a mat. That is Fiskars brand, I believe. Yes, my husband got me those for Christmas. Then I like a nice long ruler. This is 24 inches. This is the first ruler I ever started with. I still have it and I still use it. I will have to look for one of these and see if I can get a link for you. I like this one because it has a lip. Let me show you. So it will, see if I can push this in a little. It has a lip, so it butts up against the mat. And then I line up my ruler I line up the lines on my ruler with the lines on the mat. So it gives me like double, make sure I'm really going straight. So I like those. I actually have two of these. Let's see. I want to do something real quick. Sorry. I'm learning all the techie stuff, so I like that. Yeah, I am obsessed with this ruler. I actually have two that have a lip, and they're actually really hard to find. I did find some on Amazon for my students because they really liked it. Hello, is it Arlie? Oh, I still cut crooked all the time. There's times I cut and I'm like, I'm not even up against the ruler. This one's a 2.5 inch by 15 inch. This one I like when I'm going to subcut other things that are, if I'm not cutting a full thing of fabric, I just want to cut little squares. This is a nice 2.5 inch one. I have way more rulers than these two, but those are my good starters. So let's talk rotary cutters. I have a selection. And again, I have more than what you see. I've been quilting for a long time, so it's okay. My go-to standard is a 45 mil. I love this one. I have 2 of these from Missouri Star. They are some of my favorite. I like that they lock. My blades, push that little lever, my blade pops in and out. For safety, I like that they lock. I don't have to worry about them coming undone. They're very secure. I mean, you really got to push to get it. So I like these. This I use all the time for all my standard everyday fabric cutting. Love that. I do have an older rotary cutter that I keep. That was probably my first one ever. I have all my first. Oh, I keep this one strictly for paper. It's really old. I used to label everything with the address label and owl stickers when I'd go to quilt classes when we used to have a shop here. This one's a little bit different though. This one comes out when I push down. So this one pops out when you put pressure on the blade. So this is the first one I've ever owned. This one does have heavy duty and light cutting. So this one I keep just for paper now. So if I need to cut any interfacing or if I want to cut out a paper pattern, I will use this one. Oh, I would love to get one of those, Arlie. I really want a big wide ruler, 8.5 by 24. Yeah, I'm going to look into one of those. This one I've had for a really long time as well. Fiskars. This is a little one. This is I think this is 24. I think it's 24. This one also has a lock. See where the blade pops in and out. This is my favorite for foundation paper piecing. Or if you're just working on smaller pieces, this one, excuse me, I do like to use when I have like a little sewing nest made up next to my sewing machine. I believe, you know what, I think it's a 28 mil. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a 28 mil. So I do like that one. Yes, Arlie, I just got a 60 mil not too long ago, and I'm in love. This is so great when you get your quilt done and you need to cut and square up your edges with all your binding and your backing and batting. There's too many B's. So this is my 60 mil from Havel. This one does have a little lock button on the back. This is one that activates when you push it down. When you push it down, I'm trying not to touch the blade, but when you push it down, it pops the blade out. This is so good when you're doing thick projects. If you're doing bags, my girlfriend and I just made my quilt bestie and I just made some like makeup cosmetic bags over the weekend. And once you get your layers all quilted and everything, this is what we use to square them up and cut. It works so good for thick projects, pot holders, table runners, that kind of thing. It's a really nice, sturdy handle too. So I love that one. And I recommend some good fabric scissors that are strictly for fabric. These are from Missouri Star as well. These are nice because they have a nice little cover. These cut like a dream. I really like these. Sorry, I have to show off my nails. I just got done today with little sparkles. Sorry. I'm obsessed with them. So these are great. I love these. And again, I have old fabric scissors that I keep for paper projects or, zippers or plastic for like templates or, paper pieces, that kind of thing. I'm not going to show you how many gadgets and scissors I have over there. It's a little obnoxious. I love, 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 love my Havel snips. Oh, I love these so much. These do come with a protective case and a lanyard, actually. I put command hooks on both of my machines in my sewing studio, and I keep a pair at each machine. Love them. Sewing along, I can just snip. I don't have to. Thanks, Tasha. I don't have to. I don't know. It just makes everything so much faster to me. Obsessed with them. So I have 2 pair of these. Keep at both machines. Like I said, I have a plethora of other scissors, but those are my favorite. I'm going to say it. You're going to have a special friend, and his name's going to be Jack, the Ripper. Sometimes we may not like it, but you're going to have to use one. Those snips. I can see where it'd be good for intricate foundation paper pieces. Yes, the little rotary cutter is perfect for little projects like that. It's really great. Also, yes, you do have to be really careful with these, Arlie. I have actually dropped them before and nicked my leg. So I'm just really careful with them now. But I have a pair of both machines. I love them, and they are probably the sharpest things I own. They're very sharp. So yes, please be gentle. Please be careful. So a Ripper. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever, this is the Missouri Star one. You can, it's magnetic. You can buy a tip and it can become a stiletto. This is extremely sharp, but this is really great for helping guide through binding, maybe hold up overlapping pieces as you feed it through the machine. So you have a Ripper, and then you can also buy the additional attachment and make it a stiletto. So I do recommend a stiletto. My other absolutely favorite tool that I have at both machines are tweezers. Love tweezers. I love these rubber tip tweezers to pull my thread, to pull fabric through, to kind of like guide things through. They're just fantastic. Whenever I'm quilting, I really use these when I'm doing the decorative quilting. Okay. Next, you're going to need some kind of pins and or clips. I love the magic pins. They do come in different lengths, and I don't know for sure off the top of my head what length mine are. But I got hooked on these from Missouri Star when they had their Christmas box one year. They had magic pins in them. I like the flathead. When I use a sewing pin, I definitely love the flathead. And I also recommend a magnetic holder. Love this. I've had this magnetic holder for probably well over 10 years, probably like 13 years or so, maybe longer. Love it. I do have a couple of these as well. I don't have just one. Yes, Tasha. I actually learned the tweezer tip when I took a free motion quilting class at a local quilt shop, and I've never looked back. Love them. That's the brand name of the pins, Tasha, is Magic Pins. I'm not sure what makes them magic. I just really like them. I like a flathead pin. I feel like it, when you have a bunch of pins coming along your machine, top of your machine, I just feel like it's smoother. Does that make sense? Smoother going through. I love the flatheads. And I am equally obsessed with clips. Love my clips. Love them. I got this. This actually came with clips in it off Amazon. I will link I'll put my Amazon link in the description. So I got my mom and I each one of these one year for Christmas, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it too. I'm obsessed with a lot of things. let's go back. We're talking about cutting fabric. I wish I had something to cut. This is pretty old too. It's called the Cutting Gizmo. I don't even know if they make this anymore. It says the gypsyquilter.com. I don't know if you can see. Inside of here is a blade, like a box cutter blade or a razor blade. So when you're chain piecing, you just put your fabric over here and it cuts your threads in between your pieces. I've had this for a super long time. This is super, super great when you are doing like Dresden blades. Oh, that was so great because I sewed like hundreds of Dresden blades and it was just snipping them right apart. I love this. The Cutting Gizmo. So I know that they make different styles of cutters like this that reuse your old rotary cutter blades. And I've looked at them and there's some of them are really cute. They have like flowers and stuff, but I'm like, I don't need one. I already have one. I don't need one. We'll go with that. So I'm running out of room to put things. Okay, so I'm also going to highly recommend a wool mat. Again, I don't have one of anything. I have 3 wool mats. I probably only really need the 2. I have a really long table, ironing table back there, and it's the whole length. It was a roll. I'll have to see if I can find that on my Amazon account. And then I have a little sewing nest over there where I keep a wool mat all the time with my little mini Alicio iron. And this is just a smaller one that I can use if I go in the other room or I travel. I can take this with me. We're just going to throw it on the floor. Marking tools. I love these ball friction clicker pins, erasable pins. They disappear with heat. These are my favorite. I get them in blue and black. I might even have some other colors. Every time I go, I feel like every time I go to a quilt shop, I get at least 1 or 2. I love them. So you can mark things, you can mark lines, and then it'll disappear when you heat it with an iron. And it really works well. I have heard it will reappear when stuff gets cold again. I have not experienced that myself. I love Best Press. Mary Ellen's Best Press, the clear starch and sizing alternative. I don't starch my fabric. I don't pre-wash my fabric. I never have. I've been quilting for almost 20 years. Never have. I also love that stuff because Mary Ellen is my mother's name. So this is my spray bottle that I put my Best Press in. And then I've stickered it up with stickers. Here's your Jack the Ripper sticker. Deep breath, try again. Stitch, press, repeat. So I like to put it in this bottle. It's a mist. I do have the Best Press. You can buy it in a spray bottle. I prefer in this because it comes out as a mist. I feel like the other bottle the sprayer that it comes with, when you get the smaller bottle, like really soaks your fabric. So I like that bottle. Couple other tools I find very helpful, especially when I get done with my quilts. I like actual tape measure. I will lay it on the floor if I need to, but I will actually use a full-on tape measure. Always keep one in your sewing room. Some kind of tape, painter's tape, what have you. I have used this for many projects. One, yes, I love Best Press too, Tasha. I will see if I can find the link to that too. I know I got that on Amazon. I need to update my storefront because I know I got that one. I just love the way it sprays. It like puts out a mist instead of like saturating it. Painter's tape is great for when you get ready to baste a quilt and you want to lay it out, you can use this to attach the backing fabric to your hard surface. I have used it to, see if I can kind of give you a little example. I was making, I don't remember what project I was working on, but I mean, I had a ton of things to make the same size. So you have to like, you go through and you're like, okay, 1, 2, 3. You get tired of counting. So I just did this. And then I would do like, let's rearrange some things here, shall we? We're amongst friends, right? Okay. So what I would do is I had to cut multiple things. I can't remember what it was. So I would mark, I think it was like this. Be like, okay, so this is my line, like this direction. And then I marked my whole mat, like every like so many inches. And I know there's rulers for that called the stripology ruler. Every time I use the stripology ruler, it has like a line in it that you sit your rotary blade in and you cut. I screw up every time I use it because I can't tell where I was previously. This is my trick for that. I will mark out if I have to make, 2.5, if I have to make like 4.5 inches, 3 or 5, 6 times, sometimes I'll just mark out my whole thing. Or I wish I could remember what project that was because it was a lot. And I was like, this is like taking forever. So, or if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, sometimes you just don't want to have to keep looking. Put some tape on your ruler, especially if you have a square one. Tape out what you want, and then you're good to go. Painter's tape is good for so many different things. It's a must. It's a must. And then I have this handy dandy little thing. I am not one, I like to clean as I go. So I have these cute little fabric baskets that I made. I keep one at my ironing table. And then I will carry it around wherever I'm at, or if I'm hosting a sewing day with my quilting friends, I'll put one in the middle of the table. Then I always keep one at our pressing table when we're having sewing day too. I will do a tutorial on those soon because those are super fun. They're really quick and easy to do. Yeah, I love me some painter's tape. I like non-conventional tools in my sewing room, I think. Yeah, I got some. I feel like there's another one. I think there might be a short on my YouTube channel about my non-conventional tools. I got tweezers, painter's tape, a tape measure. I can't remember what the other one was. Okay, a couple other things that might come in handy. Back here, you see behind me a design wall. Yes, that's true. Don't leave the tape on too long. I always remove it right away as soon as I'm done with that project, because I don't want sticky residue left on it. So behind me, I have, right now it's an 8x5. It's 8 feet long, 5 feet wide, or is that the other way around? 8 feet wide, 5 feet tall. Design wall. Not everybody has enough space for a design wall. So a couple little tips. I made these. I just bought foam core board at the dollar store. That's all it is, foam board. Just a foam board. Use an X-Acto knife. Cut it up. This was out of one board and I had a little bit left, so I probably could have cut them a little bit bigger just so I didn't have any scrap. And then this is just flannel. I do need to probably clean them, but. And then this is a jelly roll, 2.5 inch strip that I sewed together. You can see I did decorative stitch on that. Did I do that? Oh, it's a zigzag. I thought I did some different stitches, but I guess I zigzagged them all. I use the painter's tape on all my curved templates. Yes. I've only done curves one time. Though it came out well, I've never done them. So these are nice to have. So if you're planning out blocks, you can put each separate block on one. I just did a quilt where like this quilt back here would be a great example. This one, it's all from the same layer cake, so I'm going to want to plan out each block separately just to be sure that I don't get duplicates, and I want to make sure that I have, that's why I'm putting the whole thing on here before I start sewing it together, because I want to make sure that I have enough movement throughout the quilt and that I don't have too many grays, too many colors together. So that's why I'm laying out the whole thing. So then what I could do if I had 20 of these, because that's how my block set is, I could put all 20 blocks right here. Now you can lay the block out. Actually have a whole bunch of squares here because of the wind. Today I had the windows open, blew my quilt blocks down. So you could actually, like, if you needed to, let's just make up something here. If I'm going to make a pinwheel, if you needed to lay out each individual block, you could just do that here. Why do pinwheels always trip me up? It still isn't right. There we go. So then I could just leave my pinwheel, and then I could just take all my boards. I've had all the same and just go to the machine. And I will say this size is actually pretty nice for my larger machine that I actually quilt on. I sew on most of the time. And these actually fit right in my throat space on my sewing machine. So I have these lined up here and I have enough room over here to sew. So that works really great. I got to put all these back on my design wall because the wind got carried away today, which I'm not complaining. It was great. But it blew down a bunch of that's why you see holes. You see holes because the wind took my blocks. I think I might do a tutorial on those as well. Or here's a whole sheet of foam board, flannel. And then I covered this one I take to my quilt classes. That's what this big one's for. I've also seen where people will take one this size. If you have a flannel sheet set, and the pillowcase sometimes will fit right on these. I know, Tasha, we always have a list of things we need to make, don't we? If you don't have a design wall, buy a cheap tablecloth that's plastic. Yes, that's a great idea. A plastic tablecloth has feltish kind of backing, and that would be good too to stick fabric to. I think that's all of my tools. And I will post some links in the description when we get done here. Now I got to go put everything back that I got out. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I appreciate you hopping on with me. And reminder, and I'll post this too in the comments. I will be live again on Saturday, but I will be over at the Guy Who Sews channel. Sean and I will be doing it live at 8 a.m. Eastern time Saturday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I don't know. I have a quilt I need to do for an auction. We had a dear sweet lady from our community pass away. She found out she had cancer, and then within less than 3 weeks, she was gone. So her family's having an auction. So I volunteered to make a quilt for the auction for their medical costs and stuff. So I might see if I can get that cut prior to Saturday and work on that. And I'll have to, it's going to be from one of the 3-yard quilt books. Thanks, Tasha. Okay, I'll get my Are like too early for me. Tasha, I'll see you Saturday if I'm awake. Well, I'm an early bird. Even though I was out and about late last night, I was still up at 4:30. I'm just an early bird. I always have been. Thank you so much for joining me. And now I'm going to go put all my stuff away. All right, everybody have a great night.